Welcome to my online presentation. I am Hilary. The focus of my case study is Tony, identified as 11-year-old learner in my Year 5 English class. Tony was born from a single mother who was a heavy smoker and alcoholic. Tony was looked after by his grandmother, who speaks the indigenous mother tongue, and therefore English is his second language learned at school. Tony was born premature at birth and has experienced a moderate hearing loss, which was believed to be caused by toxins consumed by the mother during pregnancy. Tests showed that he was above average intelligence, and he found understanding what people were saying to him really difficult. However, because Tony has extra support with his language development, he does well at art, math, and science, especially with practical activities. He can get frustrated as he knows that he can't do the same things as his friends. Tony is having difficulty in understanding words, sentences, or instructions, and his speech is not progressing, which remains monotonous. Misinterpreting what is being said is due to the delayed or disordered comprehension in using inappropriate clues around him, which hides his difficulties. Tony experiences speech difficulty in saying words clearly with correct sound endings and often writes leaving off S, ing, and ed in his speech and writing. Jane, his auditory speech therapist, explained that Tony's problem is due to phonology difficulty that are related to a sound system or articulatory difficulty in physically saying those sounds. Furthermore, he finds it hard to follow the rules of communication and interact socially with peers. He struggles with things like turn-taking in conversations, eye contact, listening to others, and changing the way he talks according to who he's talking to. Despite the social and communication difficulties experienced by Tony, he is creative and very practical in other subject areas, such as in art, math, and science. He has a long concentration span when he works on practical or technical activities that suit his learning needs, a learning interest such as using computers or iPads. He has excellent writing skills and average working memory that shows where interventions can be drawn upon to provide speech and language learning opportunities in different contexts by working with selected peers. Sources of information provided: gathering information about Tony through observing during classroom activities and through assessment tasks. When Tony switched from grade 4 to grade 5, there is a whole team, the AP team, that made through the transition was successful. We had the school principal who outlined the education policies relating to the school's mission and vision, emphasizing equity and inclusivity. Jane was also present. She is Tony's audio speech therapist that worked with Tony all along. She explained that Tony is having problems to recognize patterns of words and emphasized that understanding the relationship between letters in printed words linked to sound in spoken words is significant to avoid difficulty in blending. Sarah, a special educationist, adds that practicing spelling activities will help crack the code, and teachers should help Tony think about individual sounds in a word and pull them apart and code them in a memory while he writes the letters. One of his former teachers, Marilyn, recalled that Tony can be easily withdrawn from social interaction in the end of the sessions if requires intense concentration. Tony's mother and grandmother came with an entire folder about Tony, including academic reports, past medical history, and explaining what was going on with his ears. His grandmother also had a picture of him when Tony played his keyboard because she wants us to know what he'd like and what he was. During the meeting, we came up with specific areas to improve Tony's auditory skills, language development, and social engagement with his peers. We first considered developing his auditory memory skills by identifying specific ways to improve his comprehension, speech ability, and improving his vocabulary skills. We also consider ways to improve Tony's confidence in developing social skills through engaging learning with peers. The aim is to encourage Tony learn from his peers through social interaction and learn academically in improving his communication skills within a learning community, which is the key to educational thinkers such as Paget and Vygotsky. The program was also geared towards identifying classroom activities that will improve Tony's academic, emotional, and social and communication skills through interacting with peers during the teaching and learning process. The goals and strategies. With the help of Jane and Sarah, we discussed specific targets for improvement considering the underlying abilities and the need to have these strategies taught explicitly. We aim to improve Tony's auditory memory skills, as seen to be the reason why language development was a significant issue. As pointed out by Music and Sharma 2014, that auditory memory difficulties are risk for problems with literacy skills. Sarah proposed that Tony has to be taught expressive language cueing, various modes of presentation, such as graphophonics cues, the semantic cues, and syntactic cues. It is well when all these three cues systems interact that is Tony can decode, understand the words used, and use the grammar to gain meaning that successful reading occurs. It was suggested by Jane to apply the Boltzmann's communicative language ability (CLA) mode to facilitate language competence using a set of specific knowledge components that are utilized in communication via language. In applying the CLA mode that requires interactive processes of communication, Tony will be engaged in using a combination of wide range of pedagogical practice that considers the development of auditory processing skills, involving strategies that optimizes listening and speaking skills assisted by Jane using sign language. To improve its overall language development, we need to increase opportunities of audio lingual method with the engagement in meaningful language while interacting with peers and by repeating whole utterances perfectly when given a certain stimulus during the learning process. I will be implementing differentiated instruction in the classroom by modifying curriculum, selecting and organizing content on the basis of learning objectives, designing learning activities and assessment according to Tony's interests, learning styles and readiness levels. Considering the Vygotsky, Paget's, and Gardner's theory of learning will be used as a structure to accommodate Tony's differences in readiness levels, interests, and learning profiles. My aim is to focus on developing classroom learning practices that addresses both academic content and social skills derived from Albert Bandura's social learning theory. In proposing this theory, Tony's behavioral and cognitive development will be focused on learning activities that improves observation, modeling, and imitation of others. This will include authentic interaction and classroom activities such as role play, peer work, and group work will be provided as much as possible for Tony to develop communicative competence. Creating opportunities to interact with his peers allows Tony to see his peers' working habits and can model these habits and behaviors to reflect his own. And we have the references. Thank you.